Hey, First United Methodist friends, it's Pastor Shannon here with our weekly update for July 9th. Well, as many of you know, we have been going through the Psalms this summer, both in our summer worship series called A Psalm for Every Season, and also by reading together through the whole book of Psalms, all 150 Psalms, over the course of about 40 days. Now, I'll admit I have never actually read through the Psalms in this way before. And so far, I've been doing pretty good and staying on track. But some of the Psalms feel a little bit repetitive, like, haven't we read this already before? I found that it helps if you mix it up and read the Psalms in different versions. So maybe pull out the Message translation one time or read in the CEB. That's one of my favorites, the Common English Bible. So that helps me kind of mix things up and gain a different perspective on Psalms, especially the ones we've heard like a lot over our lives. Biblical scholar and theologian N.T. Wright says that he reads about 5 Psalms every single day. And so he can get through all 150 in about a month. And then he just starts right back at the beginning again. That is dedication. I don't think I will probably go through this again after I stop in about another couple weeks. Now, in case you are a Bible nerd like me, I did want to pass along some additional resources on the Psalms. Anytime I prepare for a sermon series like this, I always read, multiple books or look at multiple resources, and there's a lot more research and really cool things that I uncover that can't fit into a 20-minute sermon. So I wanted you to have these resources if you wanted to check them out, if you wanted to dive deeper, and I'll be sure to include links for these in my email. The first is a book by N.T. Wright called The Case for the Psalms. This one's like a little bit more academic, but he writes about how the Psalms transcend space, time, and matter. So even though all of the Psalms were written centuries, thousands of years ago in a completely different language in a faraway place, they are so true to our lives today, and they still apply to us even now. I also read the book Psalms for Normal People, and this is just a fantastic book. I love this book. In fact, I love the whole series. They have 7 or 8 books in this, Bible for Normal People series. But the author, Joshua James, he challenges us to take a different view on the Psalms, but he also writes in really plain, everyday language. So would highly recommend this book. It's, about 160 pages, so not too long at all. I've also been reading a little bit in this book called Willimon's Preaching the Psalms sermon resource. And essentially, these are just copies of sermons that he has preached from the Psalms. And he doesn't go through every single one, but he has sermons on about 25 different Psalms. So this has been helpful, and I read it here and there. And finally, I want to recommend the Bible Project. This isn't a book, but it's actually a website and a whole online resource, and they have been dedicated to making biblical scholarship available to everyone in ordinary language and in language we can all understand. So they have put together a whole series of videos that are about 5 to 10 minutes long. They're really well done. They're animated, they're engaging, and they take you on an overview through each book of the Bible. So they actually have 2 that they've done on the Psalms, and I'll be sure to link those below. They're really interesting. Now, what I love about any of these resources is that you do not have to have a seminary degree to understand them, and I personally have found a lot of value in reading them and engaging them. We have 2 more Sundays left in our Psalm series, and this next Sunday, July 14th, we'll be looking at Psalms for the Journey, also called Psalms of Ascent. So if you want to know more about what that means, I hope to see you there.